I am Lakshmi Prasanna, Assistant Professor, Department of ECE, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Welcome to the lecture series of image processing. In this session, we will learn about image pyramids. So, this image pyramids, subband coding, all these concepts comes under wavelets and multi-resolution. So, let us know what is meant by wavelet, what is meant by multi-resolution. Okay, so what is meant by image pyramids? The topics what we are going to cover today are what are wavelets, what is meant by multi-resolution, image pyramids, and the block diagram of image pyramids. That means to construct image pyramids, what is the block diagram we are going to construct. So first let us know about wavelets and multi-resolution processing. Let us speak first about this wavelets. So here in 1950s and all, in image processing, Fourier transforms are used. So previously, to make any operations on the image, this Fourier transforms are used for processing. After 1950s, that is more recently, instead of Fourier transforms in image processing, wavelet transforms are used. So now we are speaking about this wavelet transforms. So previously we used to use Fourier transform. Now we came for wavelet transform. Then what are different reasons that we are selecting wavelet transforms for image processing? So here are some reasons. Like the first one is using wavelet transform, it is very easy to compress the image. And second reason is using wavelet transform, it is easy to transmit the image. And next, using wavelet transform, it is easy to analyze the image. So due to these advantages, we have come for using wavelet transforms in image processing. Now, so what will be there in Fourier transform and what we are going to use in wavelet transforms means, initially in Fourier transforms, sinusoids or the signals, the functions that will be used as the basic functions in image processing, whereas in wavelets, small waves which are called sinusoids, they are used as the basic function. So here, how the sinusoids will be, that means in wavelets, how the sinusoids look like means, here these sinusoids will be having varying frequency and limited duration. So in Fourier transform, sinusoids are used as basic function, whereas in wavelets, small waves called wavelets are used as the basic functions. So in 1987, wavelets started, we started using wavelets, and basically at that time wavelets are used in some applications like signal processing and analysis, which is called multi-resolution theory. So at that time only this theory slowly came into existence. So in that, these wavelets are used, especially here for signal processing and analysis, they used to use the wavelets. Now, so here this multi-resolution theory, what are different concepts this multi-resolution theory is having means, it is having, that means it incorporates different concepts like subband coding, which is used for signal processing. Along with that, quadrature mirror filtering from digital speech recognition, and also this pyramid image processing. So all these are incorporated in this multi-resolution theory. So this is what about the introduction related to wavelets. So we know what is meant by wavelets now. Let us know what is meant by multi-resolution. Generally, this multi-resolution means, for example, if you consider any image or picture, if you consider any image, what it consists of? Generally, it consists of different connected regions of similar textures, and it also consists of gray level that will combine in order to form different objects. So if the objects, what we found, that particular objects may be small in size or large in size, or that particular objects may be having high resolution or low resolution. Based on the size and resolution of the object, we are going to see about this multi-resolution. For example, in the first case, if the recognized object, whatever the object may be, if the object is small in size or low in contrast, we normally examine them at high resolution. So if the size of the image is small or if the contrast is very low, generally it will be analyzed at high resolutions. In the second case, for example, if the object is large in size or if the object is having high contrast, then the coarse view is required to analyze that particular object. Okay. So based on the size of the image and based on the contrast, how to look at the image, that is at high resolution or low resolution. If both small and large objects, or if the image consists of both the contrast like low or high contrast, that means if the image is less size or bigger in size, or if the image is having low contrast or high contrast, it can be advantageous to study them at several resolutions. So as it is a combination of different things, we have to study about different types of, we have to study that particular object at different levels of resolution. So due to this reason, the fundamental motivation, this is the fundamental motivation why we are learning this multi-resolution processing. So processing the object which is having different constraints like low or high size or low or high resolution. This leads to multi-resolution processing. So this is what about wavelets and multi-resolution. Now let us speak about this image pyramids. So why this image pyramids are required means, in order to compress the image, for image compression we can have this image pyramid. So why the name pyramid has come for this means, if you look at this figure, it is arranged in the form of a pyramid. That's why we call this concept as image pyramid. So let us know what is this figure says. So the simple structure for representing the image at more than one resolution is image pyramid. So in the previous slide we have seen the objects present in the same image may be having different resolutions. So in order to study about that, we need to go for learning about resolution at several stages. So this image pyramid will be giving answer for that multi-resolution. So image pyramid is a collection of decreasing resolution images arranged in the shape of a pyramid. So this pyramid shows image at different resolutions. So here you can see this is the base stage and this is the top stage. How the resolution will be for the image if it is at the base stage, how the resolution will be as the pyramid at the top of the pyramid. Now we will see. So the base of the pyramid contains high resolution. So this is base of the pyramid. So this image is base of the pyramid. Okay. So this image will be having high resolution. So the base of the pyramid contains high resolution representation of the image being processed, and the apex contains, apex means the top of the pyramid. This is the apex. It contains low resolution. So as we move towards the top of the pyramid, it consists of low resolution. Okay. So as you move up the pyramid, that means from here slowly if you move up the pyramid, so you can have here different levels are available. So slowly if you move up the pyramid, both size and resolution decreases. So size of the image, if you see here, this is the base. The size of the image will be n by n, whereas if you go to top of the pyramid, the size of the image will start decreasing. So after n by n, if you go to top of the pyramid, the size of the image will be reduced. It becomes n by 2 by n by 2. Slowly if you go like this, the size of the image is reduced. We can see here 4 by 4. Next, again if you go to the top of the pyramid, again it reduces. It is 2 by 2. And the last one is 1 by 1. So like this, if you move up the pyramid, both size and resolution will be decreased. So here we can see increase in resolution at the base and decrease in resolution at the apex of the pyramid. Now, so what is this pyramid? How generally the image look like if it is going through this pyramid concept means we can understand by seeing this example. So here this is the pyramid what we have discussed up to now. So here this is base of the pyramid having the original size n by n, which is high size, and here it is at level j. As you go to top of the pyramid, the size of the image is reduced. Okay, so here you can consider the example and you can relate the concept to this pyramid. So if you see the base what we have taken, this is the image what we have taken as the base in the pyramid. So consider this size is of n by n. Okay, so it is at level j, which is base, which is called base. The size is high and resolution is also high. If you go towards top of the pyramid, the same image size is reduced. The image size is reduced. Similarly, the resolution also will be low compared to this. Like this, as you move towards top of the pyramid, the size of the image will be reduced, and finally this is the size of the image if you come to apex of the pyramid. And here this will be having very low resolution. This will be having very low resolution. And so now let us have the relation between these levels and the size of the images. Consider the base level is named as j. So this is the base level which is named as j. And the size of the image at the base level is 2 power j by 2 power j or n by n. So let us consider this is base level of the image which is n by n, or you can simply write 2 power j by 2 power j also. And so what about this j means? J is equal to log n base 2. Now what is the size of the image at the intermediate level? That means after this j, you may be having j minus 1, okay, j minus 2, like that the size of the image will be reduced, and finally the last level is level 1. But if you consider any level, that is intermediate level in between these stages, let us consider here the level is small j, and the size of that particular image at that level is 2 power j by 2 power j, where here j value will be lying between this 0 and capital J. Why? Because somewhere here in the middle we are taking the top one is here 0, the bottom one is 2 power j by 2 power j. Okay, so here 0 means you can consider here this is 2 power j by 2 power j. Similarly, if you take 2 power 0 by 2 power 0, what is this value? The value of 2 power 0 is 1 and 2 power 0 is 1. Finally, this will be the size of the image. So, the j value will be lying between this 0 and j. And fully populated pyramids are composed of j plus 1 resolution, and their levels will be starting from the size of the image, that is 2 power j by 2 power j to 2 power 0 by 2 power 0. That is what. So here it is starting from 2 power j by 2 power j and it is ending to 2 power 0 by 2 power 0. And in between the intermediate levels, you may be having different sizes of images at different levels. So, but most pyramids are truncated to p plus 1 levels. So, limited levels will be there for most of the pyramids. It consists of only p plus 1 levels, where the value of j will be ranging from j minus p to j minus 2, j minus 1. So, here it is j minus 1. Okay. And the value of this p will be lying between 1 and j. So, the total number of elements, if you consider p plus 1 levels are there in the pyramid, then how many number of elements will be there present in that particular pyramid means we can use the formula n square into 1 plus 1 by 4 power 1 plus 1 by 4 power 2 plus so on plus 1 by 4 power 3 less than or equal to 4 by 3 n square. So, this is for p greater than 0. So, this is the concept of image pyramids. Now, so we learned about what is image pyramid, at what level, what type of resolution will be available, and what level, what size of image will be available. So, as we go through that pyramid, we can see at the base level, the size of the image will be high. As we go to top of the pyramid, the size of the image reduces. So, it says that image pyramid concept is used for image compression. So, n by n image size is reduced to 1 by 1 size. Now, so we have seen image pyramid, how that image pyramid will be generated, how that image compression will be performed based on the image pyramids. So, we have the block diagram here. So, this is the block diagram. This block diagram is used for constructing such type of image pyramids. So, what are all the things we can observe in this block diagram means? So, we can have here, this is level j, one level is there. We have seen different levels starting from level j, j minus 1, so on up to level 2, 1 and 0. Like that, here one level is there, that is level j, and here we are going to give the input image whose size is large. This is the base level of the image pyramid we can consider. Okay. Now, so here this input image, after processing through this block, we are going to get the two outputs here. One is level j minus 1, base level is c. If you see the block diagram, this is level j. How we are going to get this level j minus 1? So, this is level j minus 1 approximation. So, this level j will be passing through this blocks in order to get the next level. which is level j minus 1. So this is one output, and we also have another output which is called level j, small j, and this is called prediction residual. So in this block diagram we can observe two types of samplers. So this is called downsampler. 2 is there, it means it is downsampled by a factor 2, and here we can observe one upsampler is available. So here there will be arrow mark pointing towards down. So it is called represents downsampler, which is downsampled by a factor 2, and here it shows upside arrow mark which says it is upsampler by a factor 2. So what is the function of this downsampler and upsampler? Means downsampler is used to reduce the number of samples by a factor 2, and here upsampler means it is used to increase the number of samples by a factor 2. And here filters are used, and here also interpolation filter is used. So this level j, after passing through this approximation filter, it will be downsampled by a factor 2. Then the output what we are going to get is level j minus 1 approximation. That means base level, next level it is going to be produced. So here from base level j, next level is going to be produced, that is level j minus 1. As it is downsampled by a factor 2, reducing the number of samples by a factor 2 means reducing the size of the image. So the second image we are going to get. So this is level j minus 1. And if you consider here, again it is passed through, because after compression the image should be decompressed, and the output what we are going to get should be the same size of the input image. So the output image should be same size compared to the input image. So due to that reason, again we are going to upsample with the same factor 2. Okay. So here one filter is used, then it is again given to this in order to produce level j prediction residual. So here we are going to calculate the difference, that is the difference between this level j input image and level j minus 1 approximation, which produces this level j prediction residual. Now, so whatever the things that we have discussed in this block diagram, so the level j minus 1 approximation output, this is, it is used to create the approximation pyramid next level, which contain one or more approximation of the original image. Original image is the base image. So both the original image which is present at the base of the pyramid, that is at level j, and its p reduced resolution approximation can be assessed and manipulated directly, because we have produced this level j minus 1 from level j. So the level j prediction residual output, so this is level j prediction residual output, is used to build the prediction residual pyramids. So these pyramids contain low resolution approximation of the original image at level j minus p, and the information for construction of p higher resolution approximation at the other levels. So as the levels are increasing, that is base level, next level, like that, as the levels are increasing, at the base level we will have higher resolution. As we go to top of the pyramid, the resolution will be reduced. Now, so the information at level j, we can see here minus is there, we are going to take the difference. So the resolution at level j between approximation of the corresponding approximation pyramid and the estimate that approximation based on the level j minus 1 prediction residual. So here level j prediction residual we will get by taking the difference between this level j input image and level j minus 1 approximation. So the difference, after finding the difference, it can be coded and therefore stored and transmitted more efficiently than approximation. So after finding the difference, it can be coded and then it can be transmitted. So during receiving, again we have to decompress the image and we have to bring that to the original size. So here this block diagram suggests approximation and prediction residual pyramids are computed in the iterative fashion. So like that, the prediction residual outputs we are going to calculate for different types of levels by going on repeating this process. So that is what here we have to compute in iterative fashion. Then only we are going to get different levels in the image pyramids. So a P+1 level pyramid is built by executing the operation in the block diagram P types. So if this iteration is repeated P number of times, then P+1 levels will be generated in the image pyramids. So during the first iteration, J will be equal to capital J, that is if we consider base of the pyramid, initially it is J and the size of the image will be 2 power j by 2 power j, and it is applied as the level j input image. So the input image is considered, this is j which is equal to capital J, the size will be 2 power j by 2 power j, which is considered as the input image. So this produces level j-1 approximation and level j prediction residual results. So after passing through these blocks, this image is going to produce level j-1 approximation as well as level j prediction residual. So if the value of j changes, initially it is j is equal to capital J. If again the value of j changes, the next level, initially it may be j-1, next the value of j will change to j-2, so on. Like that the j value will be changing up to j minus p+1. So the previous iteration level j-1 approximation output is used as input. So here j-1 approximation is there for one value of j. If the value of j changes again, this value is considered as the input. For the next value of j, again the fresh value whatever is produced here, it will be considered as the input. So that is what this point says, output will be taken as input. As the value of j changes, again the output will be taken as input. Like that the loop repeats for different values of j. And here this is taken as feedback and it is given as input. Like that for different values of j, this level prediction residual will be generated. Now, so whatever we spoke, like we have to perform iteration operation to produce the output. Okay, so here are the 3 basic steps that should be performed in this block diagram. So what is the first one? Compute a residual resolution approximation of input image. So this is the input image. For this input image, this approximation should be computed by using this downsampler. And what is the second step? Upsample the output of the previous step by a factor 2 and then filter the result. So after getting this output, again from this point, we are going to perform upsampling and then we are going to perform filtering. And the third step is compute the difference between prediction of step 2 and input of step 1. So this is step 1 and this is step 2. So step 1 is downsampled value, which will be again taken as input. And here step 2 is the upsampled value which is coming here. So we have to calculate the difference between these two. So that is the block diagram for constructing image pyramids. So using this procedure, image pyramids can be generated, and this is used for image compression. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.